today, so we're good there. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Eagles. Good football team. Best record in the NFL, I believe, right now, and well-deserved. Coach Sirianni's done a good job. They've got good players. Their offense is tough. Brian does a heck of a job coordinating that thing, and then Sean does a great job with that defense. So they're playing good football right now. Look forward to coming here to Arrowhead and playing the game. It should be electric, and I know our fans will welcome them in. So anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, just what is it like just going up against that organization you know so well?
Yeah, well, it's a well-run organization. Howie Roseman has done a nice job. I'm so close with a lot of those people there, so they do a nice job. Jeffrey Lurie starts with him, so you're familiar with it. But again, once the game gets on, then it's the game. So you're not worried about all that stuff.
Coach, coming out of the Miami game, you actually got the bye week. What were some of the biggest focal points that you wanted to focus on or work on leading to Monday's game?
Well, I mean, there were smaller things. I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, we worked on a few things. So we have plenty of room to improve. So I've talked about that. The penalties, we've got to continue to work on those, eliminate those. That's important.
Andy, you played against a number of the league's leading receivers, and no one's really had a big game against you. Other than guys at the back end of your defense are playing well. Something you can put your finger on why that's been so effective?
Yeah, I think it starts up front. You have a couple no names up there that don't get a lot of credit. With Dana being one of them, and he's playing really good football right now. George is a year improved and playing real good football. So Nadi gets no credit, and I don't think he wants the credit, but he doesn't get any credit. He's a stout player inside. And then you had Charles. Charles is coming on, so he hasn't been here the whole time, but that's a nice addition to that mix.
And my apologies.
You're fine.
You had obviously the bye week to obviously scout the Eagles. I know every year is slightly different, but is there anything that you see that is a difference between playing them in the Super Bowl and obviously preparing for them on Monday?
No, I wouldn't say there's much difference. Those receivers are still playing good, and their quarterback's a good football player, as is the running back. So I know they had an injury to the tight end, so that would be a little bit different. But they've got good players in those spots. So and then defensively, it's really basically the same unit. A couple of those guys are a little bit older, but you can't tell. So 91 and 55 were there when I was there, and they are they seem to get better with age.
Coach, I know Chris is probably the first one to tell you, he lost his cool in the game against Miami, but he's had several games without a sack. We're going to talk to him. You can sense some frustration kind of building. He started so hot so quick, and now it's kind of gone dry. Is he getting a little frustrated?
Well, I mean, you're going to ask him that, but I don't sense that. He knows that they slide the line to him, and so when I mention these other guys, and they chip them and all that. So when I mention these other guys, they're getting the benefit of him being doubled or chipped, and they're taking advantage of that. But Chris will get his when it's all said and done. He does so much for us, that attitude-wise and play-wise. So.
And circling back to Adam's question about being able to take away the top receivers on the other team, L'Jarius has obviously been a big part of that. He's had 7 flags over the last 3 games for either interference or holding. Is he kind of feel like a marked guy right now just because he does play pretty physical?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I can't really answer that all the way. I wouldn't say he's marked, but I'll leave it at that. I don't,
Andy, when you look at first half and second half offensive numbers, is that something you chalk up to coincidence? Do you study the reasons why maybe there's a pretty big contrast there?
just want to say again.
Just your first half offensive numbers and your second half offensive numbers?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Fraze, I give credit to Fraze because he does all that. And he's on top of all that all the time. So, no, I can't tell you exactly why, but he probably could, but I'm not going to let him talk to you.
And one of the things that the Eagles, yourself, your guys' team, good teams win close games, and the Eagles have shown that a lot this year. Is there a characteristic among teams and maybe about them that allows them to survive a close one at the end?
Yeah, they're good. They're just good. I mean, they're well coached, and they've got good players. So, and they have a culture there that dictates that, and so a good football team.
Andy, with the receivers, just the self-scouting that went with them during this bye week, what did they learn more to try to just make themselves more available and everything that's going in to just try to make themselves better?
Yeah, they're getting better as we go. I know it's hard to see, but they're getting better, and we'll just see how it goes forward. I mean, anything I say isn't going to mean anything unless they continue to improve. But we're seeing improvement. We just got to keep it going.
Coach, in the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts rushed for 70 yards, setting a record. You guys won, but he was still a major threat making that game close. Is that the same thing that you have to be attuned to when you play them this time, his mobility and how he'll take off and run?
And he threw the ball well too. So I mean, it was you've got to look at all that. I mean, he's a strong kid, and that helps him in running. He's fast and strong, hard to bring down, strong in the pocket, and he's got a big arm. So he did well against us. Yeah, good player.
Sorry. Coach, Jason, obviously Travis, what have you made of what they've done for the growth of the game maybe in the past year with everything they've kind of been involved with off the field and leading into this game?
Yeah. Listen, ex-players have done a great job once they've gotten on the media. I mean, we know that. But to have the guys still playing and doing it and still maintaining the support of their teams doing it, that means that they're handling it the right way. And they're not putting coaches or players, at risk. There's no threat there. That's when you get into trouble. So that I would tell you, it's a good example for guys. This will continue to grow with other teams, and so how you handle that, I think, is important. These guys have done a nice job with it. That part, I think, is the best example.
Couple more guys. Andy, with both teams coming off bye weeks, there's always hullabaloo about your team coming off the bye week. Is there something different about this year that with the offense look really different?
No. I mean, I don't know. I get asked that because we've had success, and I don't know the reason. I mean, we just go play. I've had good players. Been fortunate that way.
Coach, you've talked since you've been here about how all the games, so many of them come down, they're close at the end, and then, the magic card you had your way is Pat's ability to go down the field so quick. How much of that is a unique trait? The ability to, you have to take chunks. We have 51 seconds and one time out. He seems to be able to take those chunks and know the risk reward and when to do it. How special is that part of it?
Yeah. Sharon, there's no better weekend than this past one to look at how crazy the league is and how much parity there is in the league. And the league has strived for that. Give every city an opportunity to be successful. And you saw it. I mean, this past weekend was wild. So to have somebody like Pat ends up being a big part of that. I mean, you start looking at the games that are determined by one score. It's ridiculous. Every year it increases and by number there. So to have somebody that can lead like Pat does and play the way he does, rally the guys around him, I think is important. Yeah.
Last one, Neil.
Coach, how does having a week off for the guys, how does that affect them? And do you expect them to be fresher and feel better in practice?
Yeah, I think both teams would tell you yes. I mean, a little time off doesn't hurt the guys physically. So and most of them came back in good shape. They didn't just sit on the couch. They worked. So it made sure when they got back here they can move around well. And sometimes you worry about the big guys, but I thought our guys did a nice job with that. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
There's an animal coming out of your sleeve. How was your marathon trip?
It was great. It was truly thrilling.
All right, guys.
Patrick,
How you doing?
how was your time off? How did you enjoy it, refresh it, look over everything? How'd you spend it?
Yeah, got to spend some time in Texas with the family, and then obviously had my charity gala, which was really cool. And then got to go to the Texas Tech game at KU. So a lot of family time. Got to look at a little bit of football as well. But it's good, always good to get the bye week, especially kind of that midpoint of the season to kind of refresh and restart for the next part of it.
Patrick, what part of the football aspect did you really focus on?
Yeah, I think for me, it's you learn. I always go back to the fundamentals, try to get back to my fundamentals as best as I can during the bye week. And then I think watching the tape, seeing what we did well, what we can improve on, and then try to use that into this next part of the season and try to be even better than when we went into the bye.
Does something ever surprise you when you go back and do kind of a more thorough review like that?
I think what I've realized just now is it's never as big as it seems. It's always little things, as far as fundamentals, as far as games and stuff like that. And so it doesn't surprise me now. But instead of trying to make these big, huge changes, you just go back to the fundamentals and try to execute even better.
Patrick, with the new defensive coordinator with the Eagles, they have obviously some different personnel. But outside of those main topics, what have you seen differently from this defense that may be better or worse than what you saw from the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean they're really good. I mean at the end of the day, that's the main thing. They have a lot of the same players, and they've added some more talent. D-line's special, one of the best D-lines I think I've ever seen. Just waves of guys that can come in and play, mixture of veterans and young guys. The DBs, two great DBs at cornerback position, adding Bayard and a Blankenship at the safety position, and then the linebackers, guys that have played and been in the league for a little bit now. So they have a good defense in general. I mean, obviously a great team, but a good defense in general in all aspects. And so for us, it'll be a great challenge.
Patrick, how do you see the rapport with the receivers growing in the second half and as you go here?
I've always felt like throughout the season, the chemistry gets better and better. Obviously, everybody wants the receivers to blow up and everything like that, but I think guys have gotten better as the season's gone on, and they'll continue to get better, and we're making strides in the right direction, and I think we'll keep doing that as the season goes and hopefully carry that momentum into the playoffs.
On top of that, how much do you take pride in making it better? We always hear about like Michael Jordan makes his players better. How do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is go out there and try to be great every single day. And that's what I try to do in practice, getting extra reps, and then into the game and try to make those adjustments on the fly. And so I push guys to give everything they have every single day. And luckily for me, I have a lot of guys like that on the team. But at the end of the day, you just got to go and keep at it, stay with the process, and then at the end of the year, you're satisfied with the results.
Patrick, in a game like this where the best team in the NFC, the best in the AFC, and two great quarterbacks, do you love that? I mean, the Super Bowl proved you and Jalen battled it out to the very end. You were injured. You look at that game. Is that kind of what you expect in this Monday night stage?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Like you said, you got great teams in general. I mean, obviously Jalen's a great quarterback, but I think just the full entire team on both sides is you never know how the game's going to go. It could be high scoring, it could be low scoring, but two teams that usually find a way to get a win and playing on Monday Night Football in front of the whole world. It's going to be a great game, and I'm glad it's at Arrowhead.
Patrick, Andy's talked for a long time, and I just asked him about, every game, so many games come down to the very end, and you got to have those hurry-up drives, and you've been very successful at it. I'm just curious, Like, you go through a checklist, you seem to know when to risk it. I mean, Buffalo, you threw the pick, but you had to go fast,
Yeah.
right, last year. Is there a mental checklist you go through that this is more urgent, I've got to be more risky here because it's worth it, it's the only way to get it done? How does that work in your brain when you figure that out?
We talk through it every single week. Every week I've been here from OTAs through now. We talk about situations, if we're down 2 scores, we're down 1 score, what the situation is, what time we want to score before, all these different situations, and prepare us as best as we possibly can for games. And you watch other teams around the league, you take notes from that stuff as well. And I just always feel prepared because we do that. And so I know I'm on the same page with Coach Reid, with Coach Nagy, everybody is that we know what we're trying to do in that situation. And so if you need to press the issue, press the issue. If you want to take some time off the clock, take some time off the clock. And I think that's, you see in the NFL, I mean, you saw this last week, all the games are close, so it's who executes at the end of the games the best, and that's who ends up winning.
And I know I asked you this a couple of years ago, going back 5 years when you did the shop, I think the LeBron James show, and you said, I can't wait, Peyton Manning, Tom, they see everything now. In 5 years, I think was the number you said, can't wait to see where I'll be. I know you're not the type to be like, yeah, I got it all figured out, but you look back and go, wow, look at what I know now, and is there still more to learn?
Yeah, I think you have to find the right balance. I feel like I obviously know a lot more than I knew in that chair that day. But I think you always want to have that mentality of you're going to make it happen. And that's what I had in that chair that day, and I feel like I still have now is even if you know what the right read is, sometimes you want to make the big play happen whenever it's needed, and I have to balance that line throughout my entire career.
Has it been an adjustment for you, the way you guys are playing defense now, that maybe you don't need to do some of the things you've done in the past? Has that been an adjustment for you, or are you playing the game, you feel like the same way?
There's definitely an adjustment, I think, just early in the season, but I've had a feel for that. I think as seasons have gone on, you have a feel for how the whole team's playing, not just the defense, the offense, special teams, stuff like that. And you have to adjust on the fly. It's week in, week out. You have to make adjustments. And so, obviously, if the defense is playing good and the offense maybe not playing to the level I want, you run some time off the clock. Or if you feel like the offense needs a score, you speed it up. But that's just part of playing the quarterback position. And it's not always pretty, but if you get the win at the end of the day, that's what you want.
Patrick, we've talked just a lot about the way defenses play you guys and taking away the back end. Do you notice when you watch film that other teams are seeing more of that you see the defenses you're going to face playing more of that against other teams? Or are you still seeing a lot of unscouted stuff?
You see some teams, you see some similar stuff, but I would say we still see a lot of unscouted stuff. I mean, having a guy like Travis makes it a lot different because he's the level that he plays at, it takes so much attention for the defenses to go up against, and then they know we want to throw it deep, so they stay deep and make us be patient and drive the length of the field. And I mean, I want to throw it deep as much as everybody, but they're making me earn it and throw it short, and I think that's why we're having to drive the field these last few years. And so we have to continue to prove that to get guys to come up so we can hit the deep pass when it is there.
Patrick, you spoke about your gala. You had Doug Williams there, presented you with the Black College Football Hall of Fame Founders Award. Speak about that. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, that was actually a surprise to me. I knew Doug and Shaq Harris were going to be there, but I didn't know I was getting that award, and it is an honor. It really is. I mean, those are the true greats of the game that put me in the position where I can be playing the quarterback position today. And for them to present an award like that to me, it's a tremendous honor just to know that they've recognized me for something whenever I know that everything that I've done is because of them.
We'll go last two, Neil, and then Nate. Go ahead, Neil.
Patrick, I have a producer who asked me, this is a two-pronged question. He wanted me to ask you about your underwear. Because I got in the media. We got a chance to see you on the sideline at Texas Tech. You can't go anywhere. It's like Beatlemania. What's your life like?
It's calmer than Travis's, I'll say that. So I think I'm doing all right. I'll keep just playing football and having fun doing it.
And about your underwear?
Well, my underwear, I've worn them my entire career, and Chad actually said something about right before he retired. He said something about it, and it kind of went under the radar, and I was like, thank goodness, man. No one picked that up, and then of course, I think it was Eli had to say it on the broadcast, and I was like, now it's going to be a thing. So. They'll still be worn as long as we're winning, so I'll make sure to clean them. And I don't wear them in the games. I just wear them to the games, so they're not that bad. But hopefully we keep winning games. I can wear them for 20-plus years.
How old are they?
Well, I've been starting for 6 years, so they're 6 years old.
So only professional?
Yeah, only professional. Brittany got them before one of my first starts. and I wore it that Chargers game, and the rest is history.
I'm so glad we have Turkey on this. I have two questions for you, Patrick. Just how beneficial is it for you to have everybody healthy going into this week, obviously being available to practice? And then, since you are in your 7th year, how much imprint, say, do you have for the coaching staff for the bye week that maybe you didn't have in 2017, 2018?
Yeah, I would say it's obviously great when you have healthy guys this time of the year, and we try to maintain that with Rick and the training staff and in the weight room as well. I mean, just having those guys out there practicing, you have that chemistry, and then we've gotten to work with the other guys as well, and so that's always a plus. You want to keep that, maintaining that, and then I think you get more and more every year. I mean, I got to talk to Coach Nagy, I got to talk to Girardi, I got to talk to Coach Reid during the bye week, and just kind of, they gave me some of their inputs, some of the stuff they wanted me to work on. I told them stuff that I liked, stuff that I thought we could get better at, and we're going to try to execute that this week. I mean, what a better challenge than playing the Eagles the first week out of the bye and seeing where we're really at.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, sir. Yep.
Adam, do you have underwear colder than that?